There is an ideal version of you that completes every single action he sets out to do in a day. He is actually getting closer towards his goals, and he's not wasting all of his day procrastinating. You see, I've managed to become this ideal version. The last time I procrastinated was around 1 year ago, and it was all because of a simple formula I've used and I've recommended to people in my free community, and I've just stopped procrastinating altogether. And it's got to the point where I literally cannot stop working. Every single day is just me pulling like 10-hour days on my business, on my work, right? So in this video, I'm going to give you this simple formula, and it'll stop you relying on this hope factor every single time you try to take action, so you can predictably and consistently complete your work. And let me just tell you a quick story, because this will make the formula much easier to understand, okay? You see, it's a Wednesday night, and I'm standing right next to my front door, and I'm slowly just putting my shoes on. My family is waiting for me in the car, and I've got this super cool karate gi that I had from a few years ago. And honestly, I knew it was going to happen, because every single time I went to put my gi on, I went to put my shoes on, and I'll be ready to go out the door and go to my karate class, I would procrastinate. Every single Wednesday, I would come up with a new excuse stopping me from going. I would say to my parents, my family, that I've got an exam tomorrow, even though like we haven't had exams in ages, right? I would say to them I had a business call to attend to, right? Which is not true, because I was seeing no success in business. So now I'm literally just standing there frozen. I don't want to go to karate again, because there's tons of thoughts in my mind saying that I'm terrible. I've lost all my flexibility from when I used to go, because I've been doing karate for most of my life, right? I started at around like age 9 to 10. But even though I was procrastinating, I really wanted to go, because I love fighting, even though that sounds a bit weird. I just love everything about martial arts. So as my family is just sitting in the car waiting for me, wondering what the hell I'm doing, I come up with another excuse stopping me from going, and my family drives off without me. I don't go to karate, and instead I just go back to my room and play video games. And as I'm just playing video games, I'm just feeling terrible about myself, because I always used to procrastinate on everything. This wasn't just martial arts. I would literally cancel the meetings I had because I just didn't want to speak to them. And even though I really wanted to make money online, right? And I would love to tell you that I had this giant epiphany, and then like I just had this light bulb moment, and then from the day forward I just stopped procrastinating. Well, it didn't really go like that. It took me so long to figure out why the hell I procrastinate, and this is what I want to go over in this video. You see, the realization I had was when I was standing at the front door, just completely frozen, procrastinating in real time. It wasn't me speaking. The person that was generating all of these excuses was not me. It was my older self who was addicted to comfort, who was addicted to the things he knew he was familiar with. And every single time I'd get into like a stressful situation or something I just didn't want to do, my brain would kind of just go on autopilot, and that older self would just take control of me. You see, a lot of people try to solve the procrastination. They say to themselves, oh, I need to watch this Andrew Huberman podcast to solve my procrastination. But the thing is, the problem you're facing is not procrastination, actually. The problem you're facing is a negative emotion associated with the action you're doing. You see, there's actually a cycle procrastination goes over, and the first part of the cycle is the behavior. This is kind of the action you're doing, right? And what happens is, when you do this action, your brain associates the action with a good feeling. So like video games, for example, they're pleasurable, or it can associate the action with a bad feeling. So this can be like, I don't know, going to the gym, it's painful, right? And here's the kicker. If there's a negative emotion associated with the action, you will always procrastinate, because what happens is your brain learns that the action is hard. And, you know, humans are always going to take the path of least resistance. So whenever you try to do the action again, you're always going to procrastinate. This is what happened to me when I was trying to go to my martial arts class. I just couldn't. And I was so desensitized to actually sparring someone that I thought it would be super painful. I thought it would be super hard. But it was as soon as I got rid of that negative emotion and I replaced it with a good feeling associated with the action, I started to take action. And as soon as I did that, it was just a constant cycle of me taking action. I was never procrastinating again. But how do you actually change the negative emotion? How do you replace that with the positive emotion associating the action? Well, like I said with my story, every single time I put my karate gear on, I'll put my shoes on, it's like my brain would just go on autopilot, and the older self that was super unproductive would take over, right? Well, that split second where we decide not to do the habit, that is where we need to change. We have to get rid of that split second of bad feeling that we have right before we do our action. Because the great thing about solving procrastination is we only have to do it once. We only have to take action once for us to do it again and again. And this is something that Epictetus says himself. He says, when you are doing an action that you do not want to do and you act out on impulses, you need to counter it with something else. And this is where your identity and how you view yourself around an action is very important. Because when you're constantly saying to yourself that that action is hard, it's difficult, you know, when you go to martial arts class, you're just going to break like a ton of bones. You're not going to go. No one is going to go. But as soon as you switch that to actually seeing the benefits of it, you see the benefits of you learning to fight, the confidence you get from fighting, that's when the benefits outweigh the negatives of going, and you actually choose to take action. And what you need to realize is good habits always drive out bad habits, and you know, habits are really easy to form. So whenever you're in that split second when you're struggling willing to take action and you just keep on procrastinating, you just need to reaffirm yourself with a positive action. Literally just tell yourself, let's just do it right now. And I know this sounds like woo-woo garbage, bro. Like, this is something like the psychedelic people on the beach, like, selling their weird jewelry, right? They come up to you and say this kind of stuff. But the thing is, it actually works. I've tried it myself. Because all you have to do is get rid of that split-second moment where your older, unproductive self takes over. That's all you have to do. Because if you can get rid of that identity, you'll be able to take action much more efficiently. But I just want you to know there's a reason why you procrastinate. There's a root cause to why you have a bad feeling with the action. So, like, for example, when I would go on sales calls with my old business, right? So I go on sales calls with like fitness coaches. I was so scared of going on them and actually selling. One, because I had no social skills and I was too nervous to go on, but also I just didn't believe in what I was selling. So every single time I go on there, if I actually did and I didn't procrastinate and pussy out, I would not close the sale, and every single time I would just fail. And of course, when I failed the first time, I was going to procrastinate all over again because there's a negative emotion associated with going on sales calls. So, and if you can locate this negative feeling and find the reason why it's here, and just like journal about it, see why you have that thought and just drive it out of your mind, that is when you stop procrastinating, okay? And like I said at the start, if you want to improve your productivity and talk to me about your problems to do with productivity and let me help you, you can join my free community and also just get access to a ton of free resources, okay? And I also do have a procrastination course on my channel, and it will probably appear on something on the screen. If it doesn't, I'm gonna look really stupid right now. So goodbye, have a nice day. I really hope you enjoyed this video. You're gonna elbow in the face again. Goodbye.
Whoa!